Hey everyone, Koyo here. So I just decided I would come back to SD Hiryu no Ken Densetsu, and this time do a analysis on Hayato. He's actually a character I've mained for quite a while playing these games. I don't know, I just found him kind of fun, but at the same time I've also become really critical of him as a character. The first impression I think some players would get from playing Hayato is that he's kind of a technical character, and that's because of his ability to do certain types of mix-ups, like high-low-mid mix-ups, or even high-low-low mix-ups. He even has more high to mid mix-ups that go into launchers. His overhead, I think that could be blocked low, though I might be wrong. We could just check that out really quickly, though. That's actually something I forgot to confirm before starting this, but that's fine, it happens. Yep, it's an overhead. So in a way, yes, you would be right in saying that he's a technical character. And of course, in fighting game speak, usually technical refers to someone who is able to fight well with situational scenarios. So if someone's, trying to, like if you have someone who's kind of blocking everything low, well, you could just take advantage of his basic kicks, and you'll be able to get them out of that low block or whatever it may be. So it's like they're doing that, they're going through everything, but you go for a mid punch or you go for his kick string, and you could trick them out of a low block. You could be like, oh, well, I'm just going to go for a low instead of going for this, right? They might think, oh, he's going for that, right? So all of a sudden, then you throw a low attack, and, thus you've just thrown a mix-up at your opponent, and now you leave them guessing. Of course, there's not that many moves in Hiryu no Ken, so you don't have too much to take advantage of, unfortunately. Even though, what was it? He has, his punch string is actually the thing that has a low, a mid attack in it, where if you go for his mid string right there, it starts early, so once again, you have ways to get people out of a low block. I don't know if everyone will always be low blocking, though, in this game, because there's not really... I mean, who's playing SD Hiryu no Ken, right? But if they're blocking low, if they're blocking high, you have options for that. You have a really good poke from further off. He has a really good, step-in low kick. Covers a good range. Could throw someone off if you're mixing them up, right? Even has, the the special low sweep attack, down special, which most characters have. If you need something quick, but if you want to throw off the timing, be like boop and then boop, you have that up. But you have that option for yourself. But Hayato is also somewhat of an all-around character because, just like Ryuhi, he has a projectile, he has a pseudo anti-air. We'll get into this anti-air soon. He also has a move that he can approach with. And then he also has, I think this also counts as an overhead, but overhead. Yeah, it counts as an overhead, as opposed to, that's also an overhead as well. But you have different situational overheads. This one launches, as you can see, so you could probably get some combos off of that, where the recovery time on this doesn't really allow for much, except for repeating into itself. So you have different situations, different scenarios that he can handle. Even when it comes to offense, he has a means to, let's actually, let this guy, I forgot how we set the CPU. Right, we have to go to the menu to set CPU. But let's just say, your opponent is trying to just throw a punch at you. He can catch it with a throw, and if you have meter to spend, you could just do a super on them. If your throw stat is really high, you'll probably murder them, unless their throw stat is also high. So he has a means for reacting to different scenarios, maybe a little more so than Ryuhi. At least, with Ryuhi, it's a little more obvious. He has longer animations before he goes into, say, his low kick string. His high to low kick, as well as his punch, kick, and then low kick. He has more predictable strings than Hayato does. So that's where Hayato kind of excels, in being that technical character. but in truth, he really is all around. He has a flying, a flying sidekick, just like Ryuhi as well. And of course, as I mentioned, he has an anti-air. He has an anti-air super. He's got a lot of different, tools to help him get the jump on his opponent. So let's go through his moves. As you saw, he has a punch, and then the third punch. This one, whoops. That punch is specifically mid, so it goes through low blocks. And then he has forward punch, which goes into a juggle, and you can do whatever you want from that. He has his forward punch, which is also just a launcher that you could do whatever you want out of. He has his double kick, which is it's an overhead that you can do things out of. Oh, right, I forgot. Of course, with any in-depth analysis I do, I also have the glove equipped. The glove is the most basic item you can buy from the shop. It might be the first or the second item, but otherwise it is a very inexpensive item. When you buy it, it has no stats on it. So these are Hayato versus Hayato stats. Every character has their own stats. So some characters will take more damage than others simply because their base stats are simply that way. But in the case of Hayato, he has, I'm able to special cancel with him as such. Otherwise, even without it, he can still do some of the strings here. So, like that one, for instance, or whoops, that's his forward kick. Oops. See, if you do it too fast, that's what happens. But his up special is a little bit inconsistent depending on the situation. So. For instance, when we do this, you might not always get that third hit unless you start it just a little bit earlier. It's very frame dependent, but it's still very inconsistent. Lastly, for his other kicks, we have his forward kick, which sends them flying. If you have the glove, you can cancel, or without it, you can still catch them with a forward special or his projectile. And then his low kick we already went through. This is just to catch people off guard with the little bit of distance that he gets on it. Low punch is a low punch. And of course his his jumping punches are like anyone's jumping punches. They cause a lot of stun. And his jump kick, a little side, sets kick, side kick, like Smash Bros. Neutral jump kick is mainly for, actually, damn, that's a big hitbox. That's a bigger hitbox than I remember. Okay, so yeah, he has this really giant neutral jump kick hitbox. And then, of course, we have the mix-ups we were talking about. His high to low low or his high to low mid, which you know what those situations for. Purely for mixing up your opponent. You can special cancel or use a special afterwards. Of course, the main special you'd probably be using is, of course, you're going to be using forward special a lot with this guy. And then as for his other kick, you'll be catching it with forward special. And you can link that into itself over and over and over, as you saw. So, moving on to throws. His throw is an overhead throw. Just kind of sets quite a bit of a distance from the opponent. So, not exactly good for pressure, but good for setups. Like this. So it's good, it's bad, it's whatever you make it out to be. It's very basic, but it does give you options because it has the exact jump-in height that the jump-in length that you actually need. Alright, so, and then I already showed off his counter throw as well as his counter super, so we're all good there. It is what it is. Finally, we'll go on to his specials. So, of course, I talked about his neutral special. That actually kind of launches the opponent quite a bit. But if you, since you can't cancel from it, you have to make sure to dash after it. Or else, and the dash timing is a little bit funky. Then you could do things like that. So, it's alright for the most part. If I remember correctly, it dodges low attacks. So, I'll actually try to demonstrate that as best as I can. So he's gonna do that. Oops. A counter has a counter. With a counter, you get big, a big launch. Oops. I'll try to time this. But you have way more time if you get a counter on it. So Yep, okay, it does go over low attacks. But as you see, Hayato's hitbox on that low kick, this is why I demonstrated that low kick and its importance, is pretty darn good. And let's say we use his special low attack, right? The one that almost every character has. Well, not almost every character. So I'm going to go for a special. As you see it hit him, so now you know why we have a low kick and why we have a low special. Very important. Unlike with Ryuhi, where it's almost the same, the timing's different, here you can actually avoid some things with it because of that low hitbox. And of course, if you get a counter hit with that, then you could actually perform more specials that otherwise wouldn't be possible. His forward special is a great. Oops, I mean there's the back forward special. That's good too. But his forward special is a great approach tool, great for surprising people when they're crouching. It's good for all sorts of situations, even after combos. You can just keep chasing a person with that over and over and over. This move is kind of, I don't know, like the damage is good on it. And the fact that you could link it multiple times honestly makes it just an abusable special move. There's nothing particularly bad about this special move other than the downtime after. But it comes in rather quickly. Really quickly. So, while you can only, like, let's say, was it? You can't really act out all that fast. Once you hit with it, you're in the green. You could just basically... Yeah. Best special in the game? Maybe! Maybe in this game. So, that's his forward special. And as I said, it has a lot of different uses. It's the perfect combo ender, and it's the perfect looper. You just do that and do nothing else. Even out of this move, we could do this all day. Even out of your up special. Oops, kind of dropped it there, but say I do this, right? Go for the up special, boop. Oh, darn it, I dropped it. The timing's not all that bad. I always try to be precise with my inputs. But see, you could just do that. Just throw it at the end of anything you do. It's guaranteed to hit and loop and loop and loop and loop until he gets off center, right? Finally, what was it? His up special. We know about his down special. Down special is down special, but his up special is not like Ryuhi's where it just simply juggles the person upwards. It's not as abusable as Ryuhi's up special. It doesn't always hit as consistently as Ryuhi's up special. It requires timing even. Lower to the ground slightly, but the damage is just not worth it. Now, I don't know for sure, but I feel like in the vanilla version his up special was actually kind of good, but here, I don't really see much of a... I mean, it's a cool move, I'll give it that. He literally does a Shoryuken into an elbow strike at the end. If you've seen the Super Nintendo version, you can see the sprites a little better on how they intended it to be. But, in terms of actually using it, like, I mean, it's good for this, but I could easily just... and get more damage on that. So, aside from it, like... See, both moves are just as surprising, but I think maybe it's because this one's a more active hitbox. So let's say we actually guard with that, right? How do I... Isn't there a... Oh, I guess not. So... I want him to guard. There we go. Yeah, see, it's a more active hitbox, so that might be the whole point to it. You also, you know what, you do land down a little bit sooner, but I can't really speak to how good it might actually be. And as an anti-air, or supposed anti-air, like, I mean, depends on how you're using it, but... Yeah, this is why I keep saying it's a supposed anti-air. I'm just gonna wait till it, okay. Like, it's okay, it works, but it's not Ryuhi, you know? This guy is meant to be on the ground, if anything. But let's test it against a jumping punch and a jumping kick. Just show, right? Could we really use it? You can. But it's just... Yeah. Yeah. If you don't time that stuff early, you might be in trouble. And even then... Yeah. I'll let that speak for itself. Now, maybe I'm just bad with it, but an anti-air should really, like, get you out of a tough spot, right? It should be a very active hitbox all the way up. It should have priority, but not all the time. I don't know. It seems very inconsistent for me usually, and that also applies to his super. So let's talk about his projectile. His projectile is actually... I would have to compare, because I know even Ryu, he's a little sped up, but his special actually comes out really fast, as you can see. So, would it be worth building into the one projectile he has? This is the one and only projectile. Like, you know, Ryu, he has a projectile and he has a super projectile. So if you build into his thunder stat, he will get a lot more damage on both of those options. But Hayato only has this. So is it worth building into this one move? Could be. Maybe if you're playing through single player and you assume the opponent will not have any thunder stat, right? Meaning they don't have any projectile defense or projectile offense, then yeah, this is very abusable, right? And if they guard it, I mean, the guard stun on it is like, it's okay. They can act soon out of it, but it's not a bad option. The best part is you can end combos with it. So if you have that stat built up and you need to create an opening by, you know, hitting a crouching opponent, you have that option to end your combos with it, right? Or even just, this is not a combo. This is not a combo. I'm just gonna state that right now. And even, oops. What I mean is, you know, this is quick, but it's not gonna combo into itself. You can't loop this, right? But it's nice that it's there. I mean, and that's if you have the glove, right? Actually, I wonder if... I didn't test this, but... No, you can't. But otherwise, you know... It does combo out of everything if you have the glove. So... It's actually a good projectile, honestly. Like, this is the Hadoken of Hadokens. You know, Ryuhi, nah. He ain't got it. But... Hayato? Yeah, he has the Hadoken, basically. Next we have his flying sidekick. Now, if I'm correct, I think Ryuhi's not only flies a little bit further, but it's a little bit more active for a longer time. I could be wrong, but this is still standard. This is just very standard. You can, you know, use it at the end of combos if you have the glove. Even without the glove, you can still combo into it. It doesn't work on the double kicks though, because it's a literal high attack. It's not a mid or any of that. It's a literal high attack. So would it work on that? No, of course not. But if you have the you know, the glove, it does come in handy for its own situations, because that's pretty much the only way you're gonna be getting into it outside of just a simple launch at the end of your combo, so that you can get things like, you know, just basic combos into it. Like that, right? And it sets up so that the opponent is not close enough to you. You can still get some kind of a jump in from that distance, or set up a projectile so that they have to, you know, respect your approach, etc. It's not bad. It's just, it is what it is, right? Okay, so I think we're onto supers now, aren't we? We are literally onto supers. Like, Hayato's kind of straightforward. He's not as technical as he seems once you start covering everything. Just, he has mix-ups. They exist. And, I mean, this is just such a simple game at the end of the day. It's only when you start playing around with the toolkits, you know, when you start throwing the other items in, that's when you start seeing a lot more craziness. You know, being able, like using the tree medallion. If you use the tree medallion, you get way more, you know, you get, yeah, like up to 5 launchers, you know, or relaunches that you could do in a combo. That does help Hayato. But let's talk about those supers. So his neutral super is a Shoryu Reppa, almost literally, right? And you might think, oh, well, shoot, you know, do this, right? And that works. And sometimes, oops, sometimes though, sometimes this doesn't work. Just sometimes. I don't know if it's a timing thing, but I think I've got the timing down. But let's just try the normal launcher. Sometimes this happens. I was like, wait, well, he was higher than when I was comboing him. What's going on there? If he's really high up, it works, right? You can combo into supers in this game, but sometimes just not all the hits hit, and sometimes the hits that you do want to hit don't hit. So, you know, you can use it out of a lot of things, but just be aware you might whiff on some hits. It's all right, but it's not really all that amazing. It's useful. It's useful on like an out of nowhere attack if you're expecting the opponent to go for something. Let's say, like, you know, they're gonna throw a kick. You're just guessing they're gonna throw a kick, and you get that counter attack, and you know, sure, it's not bad. I mean, he moves in a okay, actually really good distance, but it's somewhat of an inconsistent attack. So just be aware of that. And it doesn't always work with everything. But I find the best way to use it is just to combo launch and then combo into it, but of course you might drop it, so, you know. But that's one thing. So the other super besides your throw super that you have, your counter throw super, is downright and super. Which, I mean, I like to call this the Andy Bogard ripoff move. It's basically a Zanekin kind of super move. And he follows it up with a launcher. And then, oh, you know, maybe you could combo from it, right? That would be really cool. Now, this works pretty alright on... Let's use this move here. Okay. Oops, I was too early. We'll get that to work. How much? 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2. So as you see, though, as cool as it is, like you want to toss. It's fast. It's very fast, but you want to throw this at a very precise point because it is interruptible. You are not an invincible hitbox. This is not some ultra counter move. But when it works, it works. However, there's a weird caveat with this. Now you might think, well, hey, what about, you know, doing combos with this? As you see, I did the quarter circle command and it didn't work. Okay, well, maybe try down right. As you see, I did down right and it didn't work. So if you notice there was a pause before he did his super. And then this time it didn't come out. I don't know what it is. But either you can't combo into this super with the glove, or no, just you can combo into super without the glove. But in fact, the glove doesn't. The glove only lets you combo into special moves. But for some reason, you cannot combo into this super like 80% of the time. It just doesn't want to register anything a lot of the time. I don't know why that is, but it's a thing. So you have to wait till after to actually make that come in. And even then, is it any more effective than the Shoryu Reppa type of move he has? You know, when you land that, let's do the same combo, but we have to try to time it really badly, so you don't get too much consistency with this. You're more than likely to drop due to how it's used. Maybe we could use a dash cancel. There's a weird dash cancel thing you could do in here. out of a punch like that. You see, you could dash cancel it, but you can't dash cancel combos, right? So what if we? So like, you know, we got all the hits. It's not bad, but the problem with it is just you can't combo into it. It's such a weird thing that you can't do that, but it's okay. It's an okay move. It's a new move to this game. You might have not recognized it, but yeah, it's a new move to this game, but I can't really say much about it beyond that. It is what it is, and honestly, I would just say, like, let's say you get a counter hit on the opponent. I forgot which move would be best. Let's do this one. Okay, 1, 2. Oops, 2. I'm trying to think of maybe, no, not even, well, I guess if we do that, no. Oh, I know. Ah, shoot. But you get the point. Like, I can't really recommend its use per se. I'm sure the best thing for it is if you see a moment to throw it in, it can set up, you know, a combo for you. It's a super that sets up combos. I think that's his primary purpose for the most part. Now let's talk about his best super. Let's talk about his really good super, his final super. The one that you would unlock in the original game as his final super. Here you just already have it. So his down super. It's a throw. It only costs 1 meter at first. The second meter is taken if you successfully grab your opponent. Shiki Yami Bodaru. This move is awesome. If you have your throw stat really high, he will outright murder the opponent. And hey, he has a super, counter throw as well. You might as well throw some points into that whirlwind stat, the wind stat. That'll raise your throw power and your throw defense. So, you might think, oh, well, it's a throw super though, you know, like powers, right? You can't really combo into it. Yes, you can. Oops, I did the wrong thing. But you can combo into it. You can even do this. So imagine, just imagine for a second here. If you can combo this move, which is an overhead, you know, your opponent's all like, oh shoot, he might go for a low attack, and you know, you do that, right? Well, guess what you just got? You just got a free kill on your opponent when you have a really high throw stat. So there's a lot of... every kind of setup almost works with this. Okay, maybe not every kind of setup, but it's that much more consistent. You know, even the forward special. You know, the one that you could... The one that you could loop into itself. Let's actually create that scenario. But of course, once they're that low, you're not going to get them. But let's just say, remember what I was talking about? Remember how I said with the forward special, you can surprise your opponent, right? With the right timing, well, you could just surprise them and murder them. Heck, even what was it? Even his normal special on counter, especially. You know, you could easily get this in. Let's have him throw a low kick because, you know, that's the situation we'd use this in. Oh, right. The low special, they're trying to get a quick one on us, right? We're not going to let them have it, so... Oops. 1, 2. Boop. 1, 2. Well, there you go. You just got counter into throw. And the damage without any stats is good. So, yeah, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with this one. But the fact that you can just combo from it, right? Oops, I did the wrong thing. I tried to input the other super that you just can't cancel into for some reason. Like, you just combo right into it. It's so good. So yeah, that's Hayato. That is your in-depth analysis of Hayato. He's got some really good combos that go into this super. And of course, he's got the overly abusable, what is it? Oops. Like, this works sometimes, but not all the time. But you have his over-abusable little forward special that you can just loop into itself over and over and over. Like, you know, he's a good character. He's fun to play. He's got mix-ups for days, so, you know, nothing wrong with that. He's got a projectile. He's got an anti-air that's, you know, not all that good, but He's kind of an all-around technical character, so it is what it is. Anyway, I hope you all had a good time learning about Hayato, and yeah, that's all. I think. Wait, I'm sorry. I'll give you a little bonus. I'll just give you a little bonus. So for what I have on my current save file, I don't have much to play around with, but let's just say we added more options, right? Let's just say we gave him the tree medallion so he can relaunch his opponent over and over, do all that cool stuff, right? So what if we had that, right? Like, oh yeah, this is the thing. That's a thing you can do. Like now your forward special just relaunches them, allowing you to do a lot more crazy stuff, right? So you could suddenly go like this and like that, and keep coming after them. Like, yeah, it becomes a little bit wild. Even as suddenly you have new combos that you couldn't do before with the tree metal, right? So he gets a lot of cool stuff. What else? I can't remember if I think this one launches a bit high. Wait. Okay, I'll just try it with this. Yeah, it does work. Okay, so you get a lot more options if you give him the tree metal. You get way more ways to play around with your opponent, right? Even things like that I got a little off center there, because if you do this move too much or too close, then he starts putting the person off center from his axis. But you start getting more options, right? Oh right, I don't have the cancel glove, but you see, you could play around with a lot of his kit this way, which is plenty of fun. So yeah, tree metal, good. Now let's say you gave him the other options, which is having an elemental spirit imbued on your weapon and your armor, right? So this is what I have on my armor. I have a little ice shot, So with an ice shot, you get a lot more options, as you would. We have to try to time our attacks, though. Comboing into it is one thing. Comboing from it is easy, but yeah. I'm not sure I haven't got to play around with this enough yet, but I want to assume that maybe he can do something from it, but I don't think so. Like, if we're going into it from a combo, that is. No, I don't think it'll happen. We can do things from it. Suddenly he has a projectile he can play around with, besides the other one. Let's run in after it. So, we could do stuff like that, right? And then if we use his up special, his, it is an up special, or his C up button, which is, I have a flame uppercut. This can relaunch even without the tree metal, if I remember correctly. So technically, you would get a situation more akin to this. Oh, fuck. Whoops. Let's say we do that, right? And then you could relaunch and then do your combo from there. See, you get some options. Oh no, I did the wrong one. But you kind of get the point. The more options you put on any character in this game, the more that they will be capable of. So that's kind of the fun of it. I think even no, that doesn't work. But for the most part, even using this as a little launcher into some moves is a thing you could do. I wish I had like I said, I wish I had some of the other elemental spirits on the weapons and armor. I think it's in the storage on this save file. It could be there, but for the most part, yeah, just giving him more options really makes him insane. But that applies to any character. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I wish you guys have a good day. I hope you learned some valuable information for those of you trying to go deeper into any kind of fighting game, including this one if you're adding this to the roster. And yeah, that's what we have.